At least 70 Palestinians have been killed across Gaza as Israel relaunched ground operations in one of its deadliest bombing campaigns on the enclave. The renewed offensive that has entered its third day marks the end of a 2-month-long ceasefire. Hamas says talks with mediators to stop Israel's attacks are still ongoing. The group has reiterated its commitment to the deal that was signed back in January. It also says Israel's incursion into the Netzarim Corridor, which separates northern Gaza from the south, constitutes a new and dangerous violation of the truce. Israel earlier issued what it calls a final warning to residents of Gaza to ensure the removal of Hamas from power and secure the return of hostages. Meanwhile, UNRWA chief Philippine Lazzarini says 5 more of his 8 workers have been killed, which brings the total death toll to 284. For more, Giles Gibson joins us live now from Tel Aviv. Giles, the death toll in Gaza has been on the rise, with many fearing the worst is yet to come. It's hard to tell, but what is Israel's end goal with this renewed bombardment?
Well, it appears to be trying to putting pressure on Hamas to come to the table to make some sort of a deal in terms of the ceasefire agreement. We're seeing this third day of airstrikes and also that new ground offensive with Israel moving troops into what's known as the Netzarim Corridor, effectively cutting off the north from the south of Gaza and vice versa. Eyewitnesses describing seeing bulldozers out on the main road that goes north to south in Gaza, as well as actually Israeli troops firing on cars on that road. Now, as you mentioned, Hamas has condemned this new ground offensive inside Gaza, as well as those airstrikes. And we've also seen, just in the last few minutes, around the last 30 minutes or so, the first military response from Hamas to this new offensive by Israel. Sirens going off in areas very close to where I'm speaking to you from in Tel Aviv. Hamas claiming responsibility for launching rockets towards this city in Israel. The IDF saying that they intercepted 1 missile that was fired and then 2 missiles landed in open areas in and around Tel Aviv.
But Giles, how has Israel's resumption of hostilities impacted Netanyahu's political standing back home?
Well, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to hold a cabinet meeting at 9:30 p.m. local time here in Israel. That's to discuss the push to fire the head of the Internal Security Service, Ronan Bar, the head of Shin Bet. That is very controversial here in Israel because the agency Shin Bet is currently conducting an investigation into alleged ties between aides to the Israeli Prime Minister and the Qatari government. That scandal has triggered very large protests here in Israel. We saw these very large demonstrations in Jerusalem, with many of those demonstrators also showing their anger about the renewed military action inside the Gaza Strip. And also there is a huge amount of anger from family members of hostages who are still being held in Gaza. Remember that there are believed to be still 59 hostages held by Hamas inside Gaza, around half of them, we believe, still actually alive.
All right, Giles Gibson in Tel Aviv, thank you.